We all have fear. We're all afraid to love. As a man, I think loving is the hardest thing to do. Because as a man, we always have to be on guard. We always have to be at the helm. We always have to be ready for anything. And the fact is, that's not true. We just have to be here. This is Thursday, and this is a Facebook Live video. And today we're going to talk about security and seeing yourself in a situation. Hello, how's it going? Good morning. I'll let some people get into the room and then we'll start.
Sorry, I'm not sure.
Thanks, Alexa. Alexa's on board too. It's good to know that Amazon is in the house. Let's see. So I'm going to copy and paste a quote, if I can get it. Why won't it let me? Okay, well, I guess it won't. So it won't let me copy and paste it. So I'm going to copy the link and I'll put the link in here. This is the link where I found it. And I pulled a card today, and I just wanted to go over some things as we're planting seeds for this year. And I keep hearing about this event. And I would like to point out that I believe every day is an event. Every day is an opportunity to embrace and embody everything that you desire or everything that you want. I hate to think that we chase stars. I think of the wise men and the story of Jesus. And it said that they chased a star for 3 years, looking for the baby. And I would like to think that that mindset, that consciousness is already here and we don't have to chase it. So I don't know if anyone's ever read anything by Helen Keller, but obviously she was not in a place where her life was easy. And I wanted to read a quote that she has that I feel is important. I put a list of these 20 inspirational quotes here on vulnerability. And vulnerability is a strength. No matter what people will tell you, no matter what you hear, I believe that being vulnerable is the essence of being honest with yourself and sitting with that and being able to see yourself in your situation, no matter what it is. And when you can see yourself in your situation, then you begin to plant seeds that are based on intent, through your intuition, and they'll be guided by the higher energy that helps us to evolve into our true self. So Helen Keller, and we have 16 people, I think, 17. Security is mostly a superstition. It does not exist in nature nor the children of men as a whole experience. Avoiding danger is no safer in the long run than outright exposure. Life is either a daring adventure or nothing. And for someone in her situation to say life is either a daring adventure or nothing, I think that that pretty much sums up our day-to-day. And if you don't embrace every day as a daring adventure, you are taking your machine and your gift for granted. So vulnerability does not necessarily mean that you are vulnerable to attack, because attack is relevant. Think of it like falling in love. Love is there whether you fall into it or run to it or ignore it. Love isn't going anywhere. Love, nor the nature that you have to be in love, is going to exist and burn inside of you, even if you choose to ignore it. And this is the first process in planting a seed, is understanding your truth and the truth that resides inside of you. No matter who you are or what you've been exposed to or how far away from love and light you have gone, you can recognize love. You may not want to partake of it, but you can recognize it. It has a resonance, and it does call to you. And I'm not talking about just the love of two people coming together and a sexual love. I'm talking about the evolution of life itself, the nurturing that's involved when a mother nurtures a child, or when you feel that angst before you go on a first date, or when you are standing up to speak in front of 10 people or 1,000 people. Love is sitting there waiting for you to be vulnerable. Self-judgment and nurturing have kind of combated each other, I believe. So we judge ourselves and we separate ourselves, and we see things through a level of expectation that separates us, but it doesn't. You see, because this is how we provide security for ourselves. And this security is a lie. You may get hurt if you fall in love, or if you help someone and they don't recognize it, or you don't get that acknowledgement from your mom or your dad when you have done something out of your way for them, or maybe you're just feeling like no one's identified you and loved you. And that's okay, because it's not about them giving that acknowledgement. That's the idea that we've designed to keep people at hands and arm's length. I've been guilty of that myself. And in the course of being vulnerable and understanding life, we all go through this awakening process where we become aware of that song inside of us. We'll either turn it up or we'll turn it down. It depends on how you value yourself, how you have placed value around you. If you value the opinions or the process of other people as opposed to your own experience, some people may turn that down. For those people that believe that some people may be narcissistic, or they may be going down the path of the me, the selfie, they may be turning it all the way up. But just like music, if it's too low, you can't hear it. If it's too high, it's going to hurt. So you have to tune it just right for you. So your truth is a song, and you want it at the level where you can sing along and it doesn't drown you out. It doesn't annoy the people beside of you. But yet it's not so low because you're worried about someone hearing what you're playing on your radio. Because you have to find this place inside of you that echoes that evidence of who you are. Because that's where this excitement will carry you and wisp you away and give you those goosebumps that you've been waiting for every time you open the door to go outside. When you wake up and you jump out of bed and you're excited no matter what you face through the day, because you know that this is your song. And Wayne Dyer talks about it, but this is a place that requires you to be vulnerable. So when you're planting a seed and you want this experience and you want to feel something, you want to plant a soul seed, you want to be in love, you want to be successful, you want to have that, whatever it is. You have to see yourself in a situation. Like, for instance, everyone knows that I went through skin cancer last fall. And my face was the center point of how I saw myself. Now here in this environment, supported by people that love me and that we nurture each other, it was quite easy to be strong. It was quite easy to be, to tell you, yes, look for the positive. But I'll tell you, the struggle when you go outside, when the world is not awake, when the people that are next to you don't know you, they can't hear your truth on the radio because you've turned it so far down because you're so worried about other people and what these people might think of you, or their acknowledgement of what your situation is sabotages how you and yourself view the experience you're in. So here I go to a store, I go to the waiting room to call a patient back, and I feel the energy shift as they see me, and I respond in like manner to the lull. I allow their vibration, their lower idea of seeing truth to pull me and to let me seep into this level where I couldn't see my truth. So then I become ashamed, or I become separate from that song. And it evolves into this internal conversation where I begin to check the boxes of sabotaging myself. And then what happens when you do this, you shift from vulnerability, you shift into security. And to shift into security, you become into a state of being this defensive, right? You plan your defenses. So I pull back, I quieten down, I don't make eye contact. And then their energy doesn't change. So like any animal backed into a corner where my defenses are not effective, I become offensive. Well, now as a spiritual being that's searching and seeking and trying to evolve and to awaken, that's not acceptable. We say that that's not acceptable because if you're awakened, you can't experience anger, right? You can't do that. Of course you can, but we judge ourselves yet again in our experience. And it's a way of using a subtle offensive technique. We sabotage their situation silently. Well, they just don't know. They're just not awakened. They're just selfish. They're stupid. They don't see my pain. They can't identify with it. They must not be living right. So now I've gone into a situation of being offensive in my security. all the while maligning my vulnerability, which is my value. So I have gone so far away from my value, like I said, with my face, calling a patient back. In my mind, this is a battleground of trying to be me and feeling unaccepted because there was a resonance of rejection in the air because I wasn't meeting what they expected. Now, my mindset is not in line with that. So like I said, I had to go to a defensive tactic to withdraw, to protect myself, as they tell most empaths, create a barrier surrounding. No, that's wrong. Open, embrace, and meet it with love. If you allow your light to shine, darkness is not going to be able to stay. So rather than reverting to my nature of loving and being more open and more aware and allowing myself to let my situation be embraced to such a degree where even if they're not comfortable with me, they'll be comfortable with how comfortable I am with my experience. So this should happen in theory, but it's difficult. It really is. The walk isn't easy. And this is why we have each other. We have to provide a place that's unbiased and a place of love, a place where we can see ourselves through other people's eyes in a non-judgmental atmosphere. It doesn't have to be 100% unconditional love. It just has to be someone that loves you. And they don't have to love you in such a way that it's your boyfriend or girlfriend. They don't have to know you intimately to love you. It has to be someone that is listening to their song at just the right level so that they can still hear the beauty of your song and vice versa. And then this is your place where you become nurtured. But the only way to live in the world, as Jesus said, to be in the world but not of the world, is not to rely on these levels of security, this defensive withdrawal, turning away, not making eye contact, not allowing you to be in love, which creates shame, which naturally creates fear, which creates offensive behavior then. So then now you are attacking them. So now this is just a lost cause. So as you go forward and you're planting these seeds, remember the nurturing process. Once a seed is planted, once your soul has committed to a situation, when you've started to see yourself, it's not about protecting yourself as an empath. It's about paving the way forward as a being that is able to evolve the situation around them through love. You want to hear and quote Gandhi? Gandhi could do it, so can you. He's no different. I'm no different. It's a choice. Gandhi was beaten and sat in court and said, I forgive my accusers. I don't want them to go to jail. They didn't know what to do. Well, he created a message upon this because he understood two wrongs don't make a right. Like the Dalai Lama said, an eye for an eye leaves us both blind. So when you're planting your seed, I encourage you to really see yourself and see yourself in your surroundings and try to take a moment to see if you're sabotaging yourself through these series of silent security measures to help you move through life, either unseen or seeing the wrong, the flaws in other people. Neither one is where you should be. Be seen, be heard, be felt, be love. If you can be in love with your life and with everything around you without expecting something in return, then you disengage these security measures. And now you've experienced the value of vulnerability. So when you plant a seed, it's going to be vulnerable. You're not worried so much about the outcome because the walk is where you're at. The footprints that you're leaving behind you, every time you take a new step is where you should focus your energy. If you had to go through a forest blindfolded, when I was in Mexico and I was being baptized by the shaman in a cenote, there was one point when we went down this path. And the path was blindfolded. Now, the point of this was so that I was aware of my fear to move forward. I wasn't concerned with what was behind me. I was concerned with each place I put my foot and the space around me, reaching out like in Reiki, making sure my immediate way had nothing in it, and that my feet were finding the place where my balance was located. And this is how you should see every day. And it's why Helen Keller came to me in this beautiful quote. Because sometimes being blind to the world around you means that you actually are starting to see it. Because I don't need to see 20 years from now. That may create fear in me, and I might freeze now. And if life resides in a place of karma for much longer, we're just going to be planting more of the same. Karma is a choice. People can tell you whatever they want, but we all have our own beliefs. I went to the other side, and I will tell you, sitting down, having a conversation with Jedi Krishnamurti, karma is a disguise. Karma is an excuse. The law of reaping and sowing is a cycle. It's a harvest. You plant every day. You plant your feet. You plant your intention. You sow a seed. When you wake up in the morning, plant. And when you go to bed at night, harvest. It's a daily doing which will revert karma into dharma. And if you do this, you will undo everything that you've done before, one day at a time. No longer will your past trauma or failure follow you. And this is the awakening that we have to go through now. Dharma says, I see love in you. I recognize myself in you. And if I can see myself in you, this isn't service. This is love. Karma says that I can't see myself in my surroundings. It's not shamanic. It's not organic. Karma is manifested through a state of being which is fearful and afraid of being vulnerable. It's a place of security, which is false. I'm going to read this quote again. Security is mostly a superstition. It does not exist in nature, nor do the children of men as a whole experience it. Avoiding danger is no safer in the long run than outright exposure. Life is either a daring adventure or nothing. From someone that, by all standards, shouldn't even be able to say that. So today, I hope that I can help you understand what seed planting is and the point of 2018 and the point of this shift. Because the event is every day. It's not a wave coming from Orion. It's not a stellar event that's going to show in the clouds. You're a star seed. You're a star being. You're a beautiful divine entity, a creation that has choice and consciousness, that can create and was designed to create. You are the likeness and the image of everything that exists right now. Everything about your hand, everything about your face is prophetic. This is your future. This is your present. Your purpose is to sing that song inside of you and to not keep turning it down because you're afraid. I did. And if I can do it, I know you do it. We all have fear. We're all afraid to love. As a man, I think loving is the hardest thing to do. Because as a man, we always have to be on guard. We always have to be at the helm. We always have to be ready for anything. And the fact is, that's not true. We just have to be here. We just have to learn that our greatest strength is being able to not hold it in and not hold the love back and bury it. The love that we had for our mothers when we were little, that's the best way to live life. To hug it, to embrace it. So be patient with your men. Plant a seed every day. See the love in them. Women are the key and the cornerstone to this movement of vulnerability. Because the vulnerability means that you find your strength and you can tell your story in such a way that it becomes a song and the people will listen. So plant your seeds, sing your song, but remember, karma is over. You want an event, you want to shift. Karma is not here. Karma means you can't because you did, and that's irrelevant. We don't live in a past, present, and future. We live in a moment, and that's now. And dharma is what you do with now. Don't hide yourself. Just love. If you get hurt loving, hallelujah. Hurt me 1,000 times. What is that they say? Death by 1,000 cuts. I will say, I would rather love and lose, definitely, than never love at all. Like Catherine Deneuve in this one quote says, people who know me know I'm strong, but I'm vulnerable. Security is a lie. So plant your seeds. And then the card I drew is Adriana. I'll show you. It says, I am leading you toward the answer in your prayers. Please listen to and follow the steps. I'm communicating through your intentions, thought, or intuition, thought, and dreams. So, dreamers, start doing. That's all you can do, is do it right now. Live a life of Dharma, and your karma will be over. And stop waiting for an event. Stop planning for something. Just put yourself in it. The event is now. The awakening is every morning. That's the magic. All right. So if anyone wants any Reiki, let me know. I will do some Reiki before I leave. And I will look through this feed for questions and I will answer them later. All right. So for those of you that want to or need something from Source, I am only a conduit. I am nothing more. I am just a vessel. I'm a clay pot. Whatever comes out of it isn't me. All right? I'm just a voice in the wind. So get ready. Bless you. And I will see you on the other side.